Hey, let's get started. Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, beautiful people of the world. Unite. We're all united here together. This is a live masterclass. We're going to get started in just a few minutes here. Welcome, welcome. Awesome. Robert, Chris, Andrew, Ryan, Janet, Jenny. Awesome. We're going to wait a couple minutes here for folks to join. And we're just getting situated here in the chat. Just type in the chat if you don't mind, just like where you're coming in from and what business you're in. That would be great. Click on that chat thing in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. I'll just type in there, hello, hey, I'm here and you are here and we are here all together. Hello, Mason, welcome. Jump into the chat, say where you're coming in from. We've got a great group of CEO innovator leaders here today, and I am so honored, so psyched that you are here. You are my people. I love you guys. You're awesome for taking time out to really get clear on your positioning, your strategy, and I'm really excited to share some insight with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In the chat, type in where you're coming in from. Chris, Andrew, Jenny, Janet, Ryan, Mason, Brandon, David, Tom, Robert, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, waiting for folks to join. But in the meanwhile, click on over to the chat and type in where you're coming in from and what business you're in. Hey, Janet, from Brooklyn, I think, NYC, PR and marketing communications. Wonderful. Ryan from Sig Parser is in the house. Hello from LA. What's the weather by you guys too? Type that in the chat. Um, so this is a little hand-drawn version, which I actually like. I think hand-drawn and non-beautiful, like very human is the way. It's like anything that can be automated, reproduced is going to be with ChatGPT. And being real, being human is the new way. Anyway, welcome, welcome. Looks like Test is in the chat. Hello, Test, welcome. Mason's from Memphis Beach Biotech. David, Financial Services from Boston. Awesome. Hello, Craig. Welcome. We're going to get started in just another minute. While you're getting here, because this is not a spectator sport. This is a master class. I'm going to go super fast at like 2x speed. I drank my coffee here so I could really deliver the goods to you, and you can get a ton of actionable value from this. Tom Toe from Service First. Awesome. Richardson, Texas. Low 80s, cloudy here. Awesome. Awesome. Because this is the problem, folks. Most B2B companies are having to put their what they're selling, their amazing innovation solution in a lot of words, and it's hard to explain. And I know that reality, and that's probably something you want to get out of this, and we're definitely going to give that to you. Welcome, Ilya. Welcome. Awesome to see you here. Robert, Tom, not to rhymes with how. Awesome. Uzrad is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you're here. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds. Just get comfortable. This is a live masterclass. That means this is a live conversation with you. I love you guys. I respect you. You are my people. You're here so that you can level up your business and get to the place that you want to be with your business. And I promise you, you're going to get enormous value from this masterclass. I'm going to jump in right now. So we're going to talk about today the 5 shifts that CEOs use to double sales even in 3 months, even if you do not have yet a rock star CMO on the staff you're paying oodles of dollars for. Because we all know what happens when you sometimes just rebrand your site and you hope for the best. This happens more often than I could imagine. Where nothing happens for sales. And so we're going to be focused today on how really taking a sales approach to marketing is the better way to go. Welcome, Andrew. Yes, the webinar has started. So first of all, if you can see my screen and you can hear me, give me a 1 in the chat. Just type in 1. Give me a 1 in the chat. David, Craig, Ilya, Tom, give me a 1 in the chat if you're here and you want to get started. So it's not, you're selling an innovation that really should be a no-brainer, and it can't really be that your price is too high, because I saw Tiffany is selling a pay-per-click, a gold pay-per-click for like $1,500, and so there is a buyer for everything, especially if you can Explain the value of what you're offering and really the benefit of what it will do for your customers and how much better it is than the price of what they're paying for. So we're going to jump into how you do that. So type in the chat, Uzrad, Mason, Robert, and everyone who's here. Charles, welcome. What business are you in and where are you from? Type that in the chat. We're going to talk today about if your story isn't simple, clear, and compelling, you're toast. Your story that you're telling is your strategy. It's not like putting lipstick on the pig. And I'm going to go super fast here. Today, I'm going to get angry. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to use curse words because I am here to help you guys cut through the noise in your market. There's a ton of noise in your market. It's flooded with it. And I am here to help you be successful. So we don't want this to happen to you. All right. Okay. So I don't know how to help you, Andrew, there. Maybe you'll have to contact later. So I have been let down by marketing too. Typically, you hire a chief marketing officer. They spend a few months meeting the team, talking to customers, looking at gong calls, rebranding customers, logos and market research, and they're fired in 12 months because they're not delivering. They're not actually helping the company get sales. I had someone on my team do some research and pulled out the SEO description of a lot of companies, maybe some of the companies here on this call today. And it is shocking to me. And I'm going to get angry here because I'm reading some of the words that you're putting out there to describe your innovation. And AI doesn't understand it. What? Create, collaborate, communicate, commit, care. Like, hello, what are we selling here? And just look at some of the words that companies are using to describe their amazing innovation. It's really failing them. So we're going to be talking about the 5 shifts that CEOs use, and we're going to get into these 5 shifts right now. So there are ground rules for this conversation today. It is a conversation. This is not for spectators. This is for action takers. Success loves speed and action. So I want you to participate. If you guys are down to participate in the chat, give me triple nines, 999. Because the only value you're going to get out of this masterclass is if you participate. This is a working session. Roll up your sleeves, participate. Give me a 999 in the chat. Mason, Robert, Ryan, Craig, Tom, Chris, awesome. I've had the privilege of working with unicorn CEOs that have taken the framework that we're going to be giving you today, and they've earned hundreds of millions of dollars using this. My book, Magnetic Messaging Framework, Magnetic Messaging, How to Grow Sales and Lead Your Category in a Market That's Already Flooded with Solutions, is coming out in October. And definitely the folks that are here will get a draft copy. So I'm really glad you're here. There's not going to be a replay for this, and I will be giving away a PDF of this proven framework at the end of this webinar for you to participate. You're going to get this, provided you stay at the end. Here's my promise to you. I will not pitch you. I will not pitch you. I will be offering 5 CEOs in this session today who qualify a 30 to 45-minute one-on-one positioning strategy session. Does that sound fair? That's it. That's the whole pitch part. If that sounds fair, give me a heck yes or a yes in the chat. Does that sound fair? Okay. No pitching. This is a no pitch zone. Great. Awesome. So that's going to be the QR code you're going to see at the end. It's also the offer tab in the upper right. You can click that to book your time. All right. So why is this so freaking hard? So again, I'm going to get angry. I'm going to move quick because I believe in you. I believe that you've got a big mountain to climb. Marketers that you're hiring aren't paid to take an opposing view. They're paid to make you feel great about your solution. You're often stuck in opinion loops talking to other people in your company that are building out your solution. There are blind spots in your homepage you don't even see. Solution leaders forget why the alternatives actually rule. And that has to be the case because if you're selling something, most of the market isn't buying it. So look at it this way. It is actually very hard. So type in the number in the chat. Do you have a CMO in your corner today? With a 1, give me a 1 there if you have a CEO. 2, if you hire marketers or agencies. Or 3, if you're just going it alone, like total bootstrap, like commando style. All right. All right, awesome, awesome. We got ones and twos and threes. Ryan, three commando. All right, so the stakes are high, guys. Look, I know this, you know this. Even businesses with great products, unbelievable products, fail. You've seen them, I've seen them, because their positioning, their story is not cutting through the noise in their market. The best salesperson won't save you. In fact, they'll probably quit on you if they're not getting supported in the positioning and the story, if they're having to do the heavy freaking lifting every sales conversation because your homepage doesn't do it for them. ChatGPT may help you, but it won't save you because it won't give you the strategy that you need to take that only you know and inside of your heart and your brain that is going to really dial in your ideal customers, because it's looking at the past, not the future. So who am I? I'm Greg Rosner. I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. I'm also a fractional CMO offering agency services to companies and to CEOs to help them and their leadership team align around a core story, core message that doubles sales, increases sales, amplifies marketing, even attracts capital. I've had the privilege of working on thousands of sales presentations and pitch decks that have earned hundreds of millions of dollars. I learned a shit ton about what works, what doesn't work, and the patterns that I've learned I'm going to be sharing with you in this session today. All right, so let's get focused now. We're going to jump into the 5 shifts in a sec. But before we do, let's talk about who your ideal customer is. This is a workshop, so type in the chat, put your arm around your ideal customer. They may be a few different types. Type in the chat, who are they? Just like, who is the people you're selling to? These are the people who your mission is to help. These are your tribe, These are the people that your organizations that you're helping overcome their problems. So you should get totally clear now as we jump into these 5 shifts. Who is your ideal customer? Type that in. Ryan, marketing leaders. Janet, law firms, solo practice. Ilya, school districts. Great. Andrew, clinical business managers, financial advisors. Great. Have your arm around these people. These are your people. So if you're my people, you're here. And so who is this for? This is a 5 shifts workshop. This is for CEOs that are bringing an innovation to their customers, CEOs committed to their vision, CEOs of early stage or growth stage companies that are funded or have capital, but are stuck at the $2 to $50 million range, CEOs whose success depends on getting prospects to change what they're doing, CEOs who are able to invest time, money, and brain share into the business. Now, if that's not you, feel free to bow out, click out of this, close the browser, because you really, if you don't have a viable solution, if you're not committed to your vision, you're not really going to want to make these 5 shifts that we're going to be talking about today. All right, so my promise to you is in the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is complicated and complex. And even if your prospects don't even know that they need it, how to turn your sales presentations into buying conversations. Why it's game over, literally game over for traditional marketing strategies, and why if you're playing by the old playbook, which ChatGPT will help you out of the box with, it's not going to win. You're actually going to lose with that. How to close more deals even in a recession or cash-strapped market, and how to attract and close more ideal customers without adding headcount. That's my promise to you in the next 45 minutes. Also promise you're going to get this free PDF magnetic messaging framework that's in the book. You're going to get advance of this, which shows you almost like a template with all the sections that you need to cover that make sure that your homepage is a home run that does that heavy lifting for your customers, so that the first conversation that you have, they're predisposed to move forward. All right, let's get started. If you guys are ready to jump into this, give me a 1 in the chat. Hello, Barbara. What's going on? Who do we got? Chris, Jenny, Mason, Kevin, David, Robert. We have Test here. Hello, Test. Everybody say hello to Test. Craig, Ilya, Uzrad, Andrew, Mike, Peter, Scott in the chat. Are you guys ready to jump in here? Awesome. Awesome. Let's go. So let's first discuss, is this you? And this is the context for the 5 shifts. You've got an amazing solution, but prospects that you're talking to or that read your homepage or even your emails or your LinkedIn messages, they just don't understand it. You and your sales reps are working so hard explaining what your product is and why anybody should care. It really should be a no-brainer. I mean, think about it. You know it should be, but it is a brainer if they only knew, but they don't know. You may have a marketer or someone you're spending money on your team or an agency, but it's actually not converting to sales. A lot of your demos aren't resulting in sales. You're reading a lot of these great books, like from Seth Godin, Donald Miller, Story Brand, Gap Selling from Keenan. Great books. But yet, if you look at the actual words you're using, the design you're using for everything, you haven't actually adapted these frameworks, these formula, almost like you know what E equal MC squared is, but you don't know how to apply it. um, if this is you, you're in the right place. So if your sales reps are saying different things, or you're afraid to invest in hiring salespeople because you really haven't nailed this story, then you're in the right place. If you're missing a single compelling story, but spending money on PPC and social and graphics and website design, then yeah, that's an issue. If your sales decks look like this, more like documents trying to push information in people's faces, sending emails that no one's responding to, having websites like this with words like software platform drives transparent, data-driven decisions, like, you've lost me. What the hell are they selling? If you have a website that uses language like this, creating innovative workflow technologies that drive, like, hello, knock knock McFly, this is the problem. This is like not working anymore. If you're using language like this, powerful modern technologies, category defining, if you have language like this, you have not made these shifts yet. If you're hearing, I like what you're saying, but we didn't get that from your website. My presentation is really a Franken-Deck, totally ineffective at engaging customers. Our website hasn't been updated and we're embarrassed making excuses for it. If you're sending ROIs and case studies and it's not helping to convert, if your sales messaging is complicated, just as your deals are complicated, and you don't really know how your sales messaging can be simple, you don't know how you can get your pipeline to actually close a lot of the deals that are there. You're losing deals to indecision. I'm going to just take a breath here. That was my rant. Whew, that's my rant, because that is a whole hell of a lot of problems that actually I've got good news for you. And the good news is, if you have any of those problems, those are just symptoms. So type in the chat, give me a 666. Give me a 666 if you have any of those challenges in your business. Hello, Sakat, welcome. Type in the chat a 666 if you have any of those. If you have only one of those, give me just a 6. I know it's like the sign of the devil or something. I don't know if that is, but just, yeah, it is the devil. So those are just symptoms. So here is the real problem. The real problem is you haven't made these 5 shifts. But once you do make these shifts, you're going to have complete confidence in the dollars you spend on marketing. You're going to lead your category in a category of one. Yes, a category of one. You and your leadership team will be completely aligned. Presentations will be unforgettable. Customers will show up disposed to buy, and that's what's going to happen. So let's jump in. All right, the first shift that you got to make is to lead an uprising. Lead an uprising. So what am I talking about here? Lead an uprising. So give me a 2 in the chat if you're selling an innovation. Give me a 2 in the chat if you are selling an innovation. All right. So first of all, says who? Okay. So I'm not just fresh from New York, but it is your opinion. Okay. But what does your innovation, suppose you are selling an innovation, what does your innovation challenge? Type in the chat if you know what your innovation requires. What challenge does it require? Because if you come in with your fancy pants solution talking about how great it is, you are the enemy of the status quo. And if people are love or afraid of moving, you're just the enemy. So the old way of pitching your solution would be an arrogant expert voice, the voice that comes through on your homepage, every page of your website, every page of your presentation, every message on LinkedIn, is you're making claims about your innovation. that says we're the best and here's why. That shit don't work anymore. Sorry, excuse my friends. Again, I said I'm going to curse, I'm going to move fast. The new way is to take on the voice of the rebel leader that encourages change, encourages them to adopt a new way, because the old way is dead. Winners are taking this new approach. And if you want to be a winner company, a winner organization, then this is the way to do it. It is encouraging that change. Awesome. Awesome. So if you know what you're rebelling against, type it in the chat right now. I want to hear from you. Type it in the chat. What are you rebelling against? What is your uprising all about? What is it? What change does your innovation require? What is your contrarian ideology? If you don't know, you need to know. This is the first shift. In order to stand out, you have to know what you stand for. You have to know what you want to have people to stop doing. You have to know what you want them to start doing. And it can't just be start buying your product, because people don't want your product. They don't want your company. They don't care about you or your company, your product. What do they care about? Yes, they want to start achieving the goals of the outcomes that your product has. So here's an example from ReadyWorks. The old way is checklists. The new way is smart lists. ReadyWorks is selling a solution that helps organization adopt the new way. If this makes sense, give me a 1 in the chat that we are making sense. Okay, so what would, you're leading an uprising against the status quo, against the enemy, which is the villain of the story, which is the common enemy between you and your customer. So what would your TED Talk be about? Type it in the chat if you know what your TED Talk would be about. Type it in the chat. You got to get super clear on what your uprising is against. Type it in the chat. What would your TED Talk be about? So your buyer needs a mission statement, and it's up to you to write that mission statement for your buyer. Forget about your mission statement. Nobody cares. Your customers care about what they're trying to accomplish. Look what Nike's Just Do It. Wall Street Journal, trust your source. I saw that last week. Eat with Purpose. That's Chopped in New York City. Fantastic. Write with confidence. Make America great again. Not a fan of Donald Trump, but I know great marketing when I see it. Hit your number, Zoom. So what do all these have in common, people? People, you who I love, you are my people. Type in the chat, what do all these have in common? Replacing needle shots with oral gummy vaccines. Awesome. Simple, but they're more than simple. See if you can detect the framework, Craig, underneath these hashtags. There's a voice, there's a perspective, there's an angle. It's underneath here. You can dig, you can find it. It focuses on the consumer with effect, but how? How is it doing it? What is the method here? Yeah, it's a command, it's an ask, it's asking, and it comes from the voice of the rebel leader, the uprising leader, and that is you. If you are selling an innovation, this is the first shift. So if you know what your battle cry needs to be in calling your people to the promised land, type it in the chat in 3 or 4 words, and also type in what business you're in so it can make sense. So Just Do It would be, we sell athletic gear. That would make sense to me. So let me see, type in the chat what your 3-word, 4-word story. And I want to recommend a great book for you to read from Dr. Michelle Mazur called The 3-Word Rebellion, which she goes into great detail about this. Own your relationships, and also put in the chat, Ryan, what business you're in, because the context is everything. All right, so look at Zoom info, hit your number. Awesome, great encouragement. Again, it's the Obi-Wan that you need to be in terms of the voice of your messaging. This is the first shift that you need to make. Dominate your market. Awesome. Leave no one behind. Yes, cancer trials. Love that. Really good. So marketing is about action. Marketing, spelled wrong, is about change. It's not about promotion, happy horse shit, sunshine pumps, making your stuff look great. I'm sorry to curse, but I'm really passionate. I take your business super seriously. You don't come to this masterclass just because it's a nice thing to do. You stay up at night thinking about how you're going to help your business thrive and get better. So that's why I'm passionate. I'm passionate for you guys. All right. So let's look at this bell curve. You all know Crossing the Chasm. Give me a 2 in the chat if you read Crossing the Chasm. Command your future. Love that, Robert. So Crossing the Chasm. I've turned this upside down. I've turned this up down, and this is a whole chapter in the book, because you're selling to customers where a lot of the folks you're selling to, the risk of changing is just too great for them. But there's a lot of folks where the risk of doing nothing is too great for them. They need to change, they want to change. And you've got everybody along the spectrum. This is the chasm that you need to cross. The bad news is that some of you here aren't going to make it if you really don't get clear on these 5 shifts. And I want you to. Real quick, Jeff Aronson, CEO of EquipX. Before, very confusing marketing content, pipeline was thin, letting key partners down, losing deals is no decision. This was their really bad website before. Nothing wrong with the design, everything wrong with the call to action, the words they're using, the whole structure of the sections in the site was totally failing them. After he made all these changes, revamped the site, sales presentation, proposals, tripled revenue, and 6x, I don't know what the word is, in the pipeline in 4 months. So now, so grateful, partners are selling easily, the business vision is materializing. Really excited for him and his business. So if this makes sense, that the first shift you need to make is to lead an uprising. Type in "make sense" inside the chat. Make sense. Okay. I want to see a make sense from who's here. This is a workshop, so let me know that you're here. I need to know that you're here by typing in "make sense." That the first lead an uprising. So success loves speed and action. As a leader, you need to make these shifts. You can't just hire a marketer that's going to do it for you. This is fundamental. All right. Number 2, start with the problem. So why not start with a solution? Type in the chat, why not start with your solution? Here's one picture for you. Why not start with your solution? By the way, this is just the marketing landscape of technologies, but you probably have a similar landscape in your industry, where maybe even you don't. Maybe you have a unique solution, but customers and prospects are confusing your solution, your innovation, with things that are nothing like it. So what's wrong with starting with your solution? Yeah, white noise. Yeah, absolutely. It's noise. It is absolute noise. So solution marketing doesn't work anymore because it's not clear why anybody should change, why they should change now, and why they need to change working with you and your innovation. So this is The Chasm by Jeffrey Moore, and we're going to turn this upside down, where it's really about the folks that you're going to market to and sell to, where the risk of changing is too great. You're going to ignore those people. You're going to educate people who are walking up that mountain. You're going to influence folks that are on the top and encourage. And if you have to grab them by the lapel or by the blouse and drag them down to make them see that the risk of doing nothing is really huge for their business. And you're there to help them play the new game, win the new way. So type in the comments now, what is the number 1 problem your prospective customers have? Type in the number in the problem, what in the chat. What is the number 1 problem your prospective customers have? So the folks you put your arm around earlier, that your virtual customers, data breaches, disinterest, need more clients. That's a goal, Jason. That's not a problem. Not a trick question here. A lot of people, it's amazing to me how we're so steeped in our innovation and selling our innovation that all we think about are goals. But that's not why people buy. People don't buy to achieve goals. People don't change to achieve goals. Type in the chat if you know why people change. So ransomware attack, yes, people, that's a big problem. Underperformance, yes, that's a problem. Great. Lyme's disease, absolutely, that is a problem. Type in the chat, what is the number 1 problem your prospective customers have? So you probably understand that problem better than they do if you've built an innovation. Does that make sense? Right? You probably do. So like, I don't want to hear it. I want to see clearly. Yeah, financial illiteracy. Yes. So do facts people change people's minds? If you were to tell people what the facts are about financial illiteracy, about trauma, about customer churn, about underperformance, about ransomware attacks, about inefficiency, if you push a whole bunch of data and facts in people's faces through emails and marketing and homepages, does that change people's minds? Give me a yes or no in the chat. This is a poll I put out on LinkedIn. Yeah, but so much of your marketing, and I say you personally because I don't know your marketing, is focused on that. So And even ChatGPT doesn't know WTF what the company does, because with all this solution gobbledygook, AI can't even figure out what it is that you're selling. And if your customers, prospects can't figure out what you're selling, a confused human mind just says, no, I don't want this. I can't figure this out. Because nobody cares about your why or your company. What do people care about? Their problems and their goals. Demoing your solution doesn't convince anyone of anything. Yes, people demos are a part of the sale process, but if the companies that are showing demo after demo after demo and not closing deals, that's happening because they're not anchoring that discussion in the one, two, or three tops things that that customer needs to see in order for them to buy. They're just spraying and praying. This is a huge principle that is about starting with the problem. People believe in the things that they themselves decide, not what you tell them, and that's why the facts don't matter. But what does resonate, and why your homepage needs to have a very clear problem section, why your presentation needs to get in deep to describe how well you understand their problem, because the simultaneous fact of doing that is you basically align yourself to be the most authoritative person or business to help solve that problem, because you understand that problem better than they understand it. Makes them think automatically that you've got the best solution. Absolutely. So the game over narrative speaks about, well, if this is the problem, there's a better way, and it speaks to the way or the method or the approach they need to take. So this is an example of a website that starts with the problem. And the problem here is doctors and nurses are spending too much time in paper and checklists instead of actually with patients. And ReadyWorks is selling a solution that helps change that, helps address that. And that's why this is so compelling. And that's why ReadyWorks is really growing their business as a result. So let's just confirm here. The second shift that you need to make is to start with the problem, not the solution. Give me a make sense in the chat if this makes sense. I'd like to hear from everybody here if this makes sense. This is a workshop. I want to see that you are tracking. Ilya, Craig, absolutely. All right, great. We're going to unlock the third shift. Make your customer the hero. Now, I know you've heard this before, but what is your homepage right now in love with? Let's just hear it from everybody. What is your homepage in love with? Just type in the chat. Is it in love with A, uh, our innovation, or B, our customer? Type in the chat. Ourselves, our product. Be honest. Come on, folks. This is a safe space. All right. I don't actually have a record of who's saying what. I want you to be honest. What is your homepage, which, by the way, should be a home run for your customer? What is it in love with? Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, CEOs all and their marketers all say, yes, let's do that. Let's make the customer the hero. The reality is nobody has any idea how to freaking do this. And you can tell, I can tell right away, and you can tell right away when you go to a website that's not yours, it's almost like an outside in thing, if it's obsessed with your customer's goals and problems, or if your customer's solution. So the hero's journey, you know so well, right? You know from Dorothy, the Lion King, we love this story, and we love it because it's our own story. Every one of us. I have my own hero's journey in my life. You have it in yours, and you're bringing an innovation to help your customers, and that's part of your story. But if you really think about it, when any prospect comes to your website, they're going to hit it. And if they see bringing clarity to risk, this is like making acuity the hero of the story. And you have to struggle in your head, like, what are they selling? Who are they selling it to? How is this going to help me? Do they even understand my problem? No, they don't. I'm out. So who is the hero on your homepage right now? If you have any of these words, it's basically you, and you need to change it. Here's a bad example. AI human interaction. Everything is AI right now, as it should be. AI is amazing. But do you have any idea what this company does? Give me a yes or no, just on the chat. Do you have any freaking idea of what this company sells, what they sell it to, from looking at this homepage? Yeah, no, Robert, Tom, no, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, okay. So now Maybe a better idea. Give doctors superpowers. Bring emotional artificial intelligence to patient encounters. Oh, I see. Turn virtual patient checkups into deeply insightful interactions. So, do you get what this company is selling now? Yes or no in the chat? No. Yes. Okay. All right. So, it's a little better. It's a little better. Okay. They're selling AI that helps doctors understand what's going on at an emotional level using AI. All right. So, this is like a better approach. It's the same company. So, the old way, solution-centric marketing, is the voices. We're the best. The new way is how we make you better. Okay. So if you think about what you're really selling, you're selling um, something that's going to help your customers who are where they are today, doing what they're doing, how they're doing it, where they're doing it, to change to do it a better way. And so your solution isn't the end; it's a means to an end. So you're really selling transformation. So if you look at this diagram again, you do have to ignore a lot of people in the market. You got to fine tune your story here and influence and sell and encourage people who you and they recognize that the risks to staying as they are doing in their current state is too great and they're not going to tolerate it anymore. And so um, all right, so BST Perform, this is a company selling a very sophisticated performance analytics software to behavioral analytics, very sophisticated, really failing to make new conversations because their product was so confusing. After implemented these 5 shifts, um, totally confident about the story, winning a lot of big deals and much faster. And actually, salespeople were able to sell very quickly. This was actually a post on LinkedIn that she posted that described what she's encouraging her customers to stop doing and start doing with their messaging, and immediately booked a call just by changing some of the messaging. So make your customer the hero. This is the third shift you need to do. Type in the chat if that makes sense. All right, so the probability chart, you want to see that again, David, looks like this. Okay. This is there's a great quote by Anais Nin and says, and the day came when the risk of remaining tight as a bud was greater than the risk of blossoming. And you really need to help your customers blossom and change and adopt a new way. And that's what this speaks to. All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Next shift. Use the secret weapon. And the secret weapon is really a combination of 3 things. The first thing is this game over positioning, and it includes a revolution hashtag and a story which is your North Star, but it's also your customer's North Star. And together, shoulder to shoulder, you are marching there. You are helping them get there. The second piece is the heroic homepage revamp that has 10 parts. You're going to get the framework today. But implementing that requires redesign from a design perspective, as well as a story and structure perspective, and also a sales presentation that doesn't replicate the site, but a few slides that enables you to have those key conversations in order to move deals forward. All right, so you want to turn your website into a conversion site, because a website is not a brochure. It needs to do something. It needs to actually help your customers change. The homepage needs to uh, this text above there needs to just be curiosity creating about the old way and versus the new way, and get people interested enough to start scrolling. And homepages are nowadays super long because it's almost like a TikTok or a Facebook or a LinkedIn feed, moving people along the thinking, like, what is this for? How does it work? How do I work with it? And people are thinking that in their minds. You need to give them a home run as they go around the bases for your homepage. So this is the magnetic messaging framework. We're going to pass it out later in the session. You're going to see how this homepage has all these sections that you need to cover. They're different colors because I really look at it from the person's, my mind or your mind is thinking about all these things as you're scrolling, from credibility to do you understand my problem, to authority to the call to action. What are you asking me to do? All that needs to be beautifully laid out. And this is the template that you're going to see. The call to actions, they can't be passive, like learn more, get started. That doesn't work. Very focused calls to actions that speak to the call to value that they're going to get by taking that action. Uh, and something as simple as this, I hope you pay attention to this. Instead of having a form, don't have forms anymore. If the point is to actually talk to someone, have them click one click on your homepage, which is to select a time. And in the next page, they're putting their name, their email address, and questions to answer. This converts. The other way, about like 60–70% people like get lost in the back and forth email. And it's not me saying that, that's just the data. So here's some really great examples of companies that have dialed in this magnetic messaging framework. HOA works, make your HOA smarter, fantastic. Get your self-managed HOA 100% online, really good. Cybersecurity company, make cybersecurity simple, really works great. So if you don't have your homepage doing this heavy lifting, your sales conversations will suffer. And they'll suffer because you're really wasting time trying to explain everything to people. So you need to turn your presentation into a set of short conversations to do that. And a lot of people, look at their slides and they see that it's undermining the sales. And Gong.io has done a lot of research on this. So type in the chat, how many slides do you think you need? How many slides do you think you need? And consider a slide. What is a slide but a single conversation? Don't think of a slide as like 19 bullets and 19 different conversations. How many conversations do you really need? Yeah, 2, 10, 10 to 12. Yeah, so it's an average. I think 6 is the golden zone, because you think about the conversations you need about this is part of this magnetic messaging framework. You need to do that. So bad sales reps will respond to a customer that says, well, we have a problem. Well, bad sales rep is going to say, great, here is our solution. A good sales rep in a great sales presentation would have a slide that would really go into, why do you want to fix this? Why is this important to you? What in your business needs to be remedied because of this problem? What are the ripple effects of this problem? And a shitty sales presentation it really just helps the bad sales reps on the right. It actually doesn't help B sales reps become A sales reps, because it doesn't have the right conversations. Here's an example of an agenda for ReadyWorks, and it's a 3-slide, if you will, a 3-part, a 3-conversation presentation, where essentially it's almost like a whiteboard session, conversation about challenges, a conversation about solutions, and a conversation about how you're going to help them get there. And it's a conversation, it's not a presentation. Doing a deep dive within those 3 buckets, there's lots of sub conversations you can have. These are them, and I know them because I've worked literally myself and my team on thousands of sales presentations that have converted into millions or maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars of business. These are them. And you don't necessarily need all these conversations, but these are the totality. The only conversations missing here is rapport. So this is an example of a beautiful slide. I'm sure you've seen beautiful slides before, but slides that are very visual and almost like whiteboard kind of conversational slides. These are the slides that you need. So just to recap, this is the secret formula, a magnetic messaging framework, which has 3 parts: the game over positioning, heroic homepage revamp, and a sales deck that really fosters the right conversations. Because if you think about it, just type in the chat here. I've got a question for you. You may not even need a website to earn customers' business. You may not even need a sales presentation to earn customers' business. What do you need to earn customers' business? Type in the chat. What do you need? Little trick question here. Type in the need. Wow, not such a trick question. Janet, Octavia, you guys are mind readers. Absolutely. Mind readers. You need trust. And what we're talking about, the magnetic messaging framework, the secret weapon, is the tools and the frameworks for you to build that trust to help people. All right. If you're ready to get into the last one, say, I'm here and let's go. Just give me some idea. Say, let's go, if we're ready to run into the last one. The last shift. Go, go, go. Let go, let go, let go. David, Andrew, Chris, Tom. Tom, who else is here? Robert, go, go, go. Who else is here? Come on, guys. All right. So Buzz Lightyear. Speaking of Buzz Lightyear, I have a 2-year-old. I also have a 23-year-old and a 24-year-old, and I have a baby coming in 3 weeks, and I'll be a very busy man, and staying young forever, hopefully. But looking at Buzz Lightyear reminds me of watching these movies. I'm sure that you did. And remember that moment in Buzz Lightyear when he kind of realized that there's thousands of him like out there, and this is kind of a sad and shocking moment, because when you're inside that box, it's really hard to see how customers see you. And I think that the last shift that CEOs make is they hire an outside expert that takes a fresh look at the laggards of the curve, the people on that other side of the curve that I was describing, the people who are risk averse. They're afraid to make the change, or they're concerned about the change. That's the perspective that you need the outside expert to have, because that's the kind of selling you need to do. So Masood, before, totally frustrated, sales were declining, 30 demos to 1 sale. Oh my gosh. Actually was on a limited financial runway for the company that he was the CEO for, where I think it still is. So this was their before site. Kubernetes application resiliency starts here. Okay, says who? What are they even selling? I don't know what. This was really failing them. The after was get intelligent recovery, and they created a category of one around intelligent recovery in the backup and recovery space, totally crushing it in their space, their industry, selling to global enterprises, CISOs, and DevOps leaders. And you can see that really clearly here. And I'm so proud of Masood, who have tripled at bats, doubled their win rate, and new salespeople are closing deals. Awesome. So if you do not hire an outside expert that doesn't know crap about your industry, which, by the way, that actually could be so refreshing, you may actually struggle to do this alone. You may go back and forth between good opinions. You'll be stuck with this inside baseball language that may not be resonating with ideal customers, and waste time and people on demos that do not close. I have had the privilege of working with a lot of what I call awesome people, awesome CEOs that really wanted to get that outside expertise to really help them dial in their story. So I like to say, do not hire a marketer, because marketers, what do marketers do? Type in the chat. Marketers, what do marketers do? They market. They market, market, market. And I hate marketing. I despise it. I hate it because it's let me down. It doesn't work. I would say hire a sales enabler. Take a sales enablement approach to everything you're doing on the, I hate to say the word, marketing, because that's the only thing that matters. Marketing that actually helps people change from what they're doing today to what they need to be doing so that they can be successful. All right, so this is what you need to win. Just to recap: lead an uprising, start with the problem, make your customer the hero, use the secret weapon, which is that that three-legged stool. All right, the magnetic, sorry, it's the first leg was I just had an ADD brain fart moment. The heroic messaging, the website, and the sales deck. Number 5, invest in expert outside help. So I would say now, what is your definition for us of selling? Thank you. I'm going to get to that question in a minute, Robert. So now you have a choice. You have a choice. You can go it alone, commando style, good luck with what we're giving you here, or you can get help. And this is what I have for you. You are my people if you're here. This is offered to 5 people. I'm a very busy guy. I've got a baby coming in 3 weeks, plus I have a small team of 3 and a lot of existing customers to serve. So I have very limited time, but I'm willing to have an absolutely free brainstorm session with you. I would say a strategic positioning and marketing and sales enablement assessment discussion. If you snap this QR code and book this time with me, jump on that so that we can really see, put a plan together. So we'll get clear on the gap of where you are today. how you're tracking with your ARR and your revenue and your sales, where you want to be, what are the ripple effects. If you do not change that, are you interested in changing it? We will decide what needs to be done about it. I'll basically give you a structure for that, get a game plan to getting it done. So that's my commitment to you. I encourage you to do that if you qualify, if this is for you. I don't know if it is. So now let me give you the magnetic messaging framework, and then we'll talk about qualifications, and I'm going to talk to Robert's question. All right, so share handout. So upper right-hand corner, you'll see a handout link. Click on that. That'll be a PDF download of the magnetic messaging framework. It has all the elements that you need to have on your homepage. And for you to really make your homepage a home run for your customers. All right. So, and if you pull it up, feel free to type in the chat some questions you have about that. Feel free to, I'm happy to answer. All right. In the chat right now, I would say type in any comments or questions you have looking at the magnetic messaging framework. And I would say do not book, do not snap that QR code and book with me if you don't have a viable product, if you aren't committed to your vision, if you're okay with where you are, if you aren't challenging the status quo of your industry, because this framework that I'm helping you with, this one is proven to work every single time if you are challenging the status quo. If you're not, if you're just selling another minivan, please do not book with me. I don't know that I can help you. If you can't or won't invest time or money in your business, don't book. So I want to encourage you to act as we talked about before. Definitely do something, adopt these shifts, make these shifts for your business. Um, there's the choice that you have. And I would say if you don't do it now, I would imagine you'd want to make these shifts now. That's why you're here in this masterclass. So let's go to questions. Type in the chat any questions you have about the PDF that I put up there. Robert, what is my definition for us for selling? Good question. Great question. I kind of feel I'm going to take a total rebellious answer here because who cares? I don't believe in selling. I don't believe that that selling works. And I've spent my whole career, quote, selling. I really think that the purpose of what we do as CEOs and sellers is to really help people make a change, help people get better, help people fix their problems, help organizations evolve. That's what I believe our job is as sellers, to influence and to influence that change to a better place. Robert, what do you think of that definition? Type in the chat. All right, any other comments, questions here as we're going to wrap up in just a couple minutes? I want to respect everyone's time. I love you guys. You are my people. Type in the chat. Any comments, questions? Let's take a quick look at here. So book a call if you want to set some time with me to really dive into your world and offer a prescription of how to help. There's the QR code. There is the link, but that's probably too long. Just snap the QR code. And in the chat, type in some comments or questions you've got. How can this affect resellers? Great question, Mike. I have no idea how it affects your resellers, but I can tell you with EquipX that they had most of their business now comes through resellers, because after they adopted these 5 shifts in their sales enablement and marketing, that their resellers were able to sell more, sell a lot easier, because each reseller didn't have to reinvent the wheel for themselves. Does that make sense, Mike? But with respect to how you work with resellers, I don't know. Any other comments, questions? Let's go back to the 5 shifts. And let me ask you, which one of these 5 shifts do you think would have the most impact for your business, that would move the needle the most if you actually made these shifts? Type in the chat, which one of these shifts? So Craig, if we can create the magnetic marketing, magnetic messaging, I'll call it, by the way, for our reseller channel, we can help our MSP resellers sell cybersecurity to the clients. Yes, absolutely. Janet, too, start with the problem. Love that. Absolutely. It is so, that's what, without a problem, let me ask you, Janet, and others here, if a customer doesn't realize that they have a problem, do you even have an opportunity to help them or sell to anything to them? Yes or no? So Scott, how do you drive traffic to your website? So right, there's a lots of that's a whole area of discipline and expertise of driving traffic to sites. And there's ninja ways and gorilla ways and elephant ways to do that. That is outside the scope of what we're talking about. But I would say if you're going to invest dollars, every dollar you spend on getting traffic to your website, if people show up and they're like, "What the hell is this? Like, how do I use it? What are they selling? Is this for me?" If they're asking those questions in their mind, they're going to bounce. So every dollar that you spend on your getting traffic to your website is an absolute failure. Craig, 1, builds rapport, outlines pain points. 3, encouraging. Awesome. Trust the expert. Great, great. Easy button. Lost. Awesome. Love that. Robert, I'm totally in agreement with your definition of selling. Thank you. Awesome. So we're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes. I just want to say I love you guys. I do. Because if you're here, you took time out of your life, out of your business to focus on your business instead of in the weeds and to think about at a high level what you need to fix in order so that you can attract ideal customers, grow your revenue, and realize the dream that you have, which is to help your customers be better, which is my dream. That's why I'm serving you here today to help you achieve your business and goals. So we're in simpatico here. We're all in the same boat here together. So I love you back, Robert. Thank you. We're going to wrap up here in just about 15 seconds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. If you want to book this meeting, again, I'm very busy. I would love to speak with you if you're qualified. Book a call with me. I trust you that you wouldn't if you were not. Thank you so much, Andrew. Let me just go through the participant list who is still here. Chris, thank you. Robert, Craig, thank you. Ilya, Andrew, Mike, Peter, Scott, Octavia, thank you. Andrew and Rob. Godspeed. Keep on rocking in the free world, and we'll speak to you soon.